Hi everyone, this is Sarah Weidman with the Stressless Student. And I want to give you two scenarios, and I'm curious to know if you've experienced either one. I take public transportation a lot, and often it's crowded. And so there's two scenarios that I notice. The first one is the bus or the train stops, and everybody is trying to get on the train and bus or off the train or bus at the same time. And when that happens, there is generally chaos. Sometimes people are not happy and they verbalize their unhappiness in not such kind ways. And then also, it ultimately takes longer for the bus or train to take off because the door is jammed or it won't close, and we have to wait for somebody to move so that that door can close so that we can ultimately go, right? And then the second scenario is that the bus or the train stops, and those of us who are waiting to get on wait for everyone to get off. And then, more or less, everyone sort of gets on one at a time in an efficient manner. And the experience of that is relative ease, right? It's still a crowded train or bus, and the train or bus is able to take off in a much more timely manner because there was an order and there was efficiency. Okay, so how does this relate to schoolwork? Well, have you ever felt like you've come home and you feel like you have so much to do, and all of that stuff is reeling in your head about everything you have to do, and you're trying to figure out how you can do almost everything at the same time? Which can't happen. And then there's this sense of trying to get everybody on and off the train at the same time. And the door or your mind sort of jams. And then you end up going to one of your maybe favorite time wasters. And before you know it, the project's not getting done until the last minute. And there's a sense of overwhelm. And perhaps the quality of work isn't as good as you would have liked it to be, right? So here is a couple of antidotes to that. Treating your projects the same way you would treat a train or a bus, waiting for the people to get off and then having an order to letting one person on at a time, right? So the first thing that I suggest is that you write down everything you have to do. I have a science project that I have to do. I have to study for this test, and I have to write an essay. Okay. Now those are still pretty large tasks, right? So then what I suggest you do is you choose one of those tasks and you break them down into manageable chunks. And then the third thing is that you set a timer. I recommend 25 minutes, and you focus on just that first task for 25 minutes. So here are the steps again. Write down everything I have to do. Choose one task and break it down into manageable action steps. And then set a timer and just focus into one of those steps. Okay? So here's an example. Let's pretend that you have to write an essay. Now, I just wrote down the first 3 steps of what I might do if I had to write an essay. There are more steps, but the mind can only handle 3 to 5 things at a time, and we can only do one at a time, right? So my 3 steps are: 1, write what I call a shitty first draft, and that's just when you write down all your ideas on paper, and you give yourself 25 minutes to do that. 2, I would then, after those 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, set a timer again. I say 25 minutes and put all my ideas into an outline. And let's say 3 is, again, take that 5-minute break and then find quotes to support my ideas, again, for 25 minutes. Now, let's say you start with number 1, the timer goes off, and you say, oh my gosh, I'm not finished. That's fine. You made the list, so you get to adapt the list. And then you just set a timer again for 25 minutes and focus on the first task, right? Now, to help yourself stay calm and focused, what the other thing I suggest you do is whatever task you're working on, put a post-it. So this says, okay, I'm just writing a shitty first draft. And then I'm going to put that somewhere where it's visible. I'm putting it right now on the edge of my keyboard so that when I find my mind saying, oh my gosh, what about that science project? I can just go back to the post-it. Oh, all I have to do is write a shitty first draft. And then my intention and focus returns to the task at hand. If you would like more tips for how to manage your overwhelm with schoolwork or other study tips, please feel free to reach out. Take care and have a wonderful week. Bye.